locked up for having 5 guns in his car, including 2 assault-style rifles. The 32-year-old Perryman was released late Monday afternoon. Perryman was stopped by Inglewood police on Friday for having expired tags on his car. He was scheduled to appear at the Inglewood courthouse Tuesday morning, but LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman decided not to file charges. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Give people what they want.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Search to find the love within. I came back to let you know, got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see. I came back I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, but they may never find what they dream of. What you won't do to do for love, you tried everything, but you don't give up.
It's funny that Miles is playing this track from Bobby Caldwell. I was talking to some friends the other day, and we were putting together our list of our top 5 blue-eyed soul singers. And Bobby Caldwell was on my top 5 of the most soulful white boys to ever step to a microphone. So I had, who did I have? I had Bobby Caldwell on my list. I had Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins, Daryl Hall, and I forgot who my 5th was. Tina Marie. That was it. I had Tina Marie. Those are my top 5 of blue-eyed soul singers. Anyway, love me some Bobby Caldwell. We have made it to the last hour of our program today. Glad to have you with us all 3 hours today, and this is going to be a good one to close today's show. In this hour, a conversation with Marique Moss, and I had them check the pronunciation of her name. Obviously, with a name like Tavis, I get called Travis all the time, even after 30 plus years. I still love people walking to me and say, Travis, I'm your biggest fan. I said, I can tell. 30 plus years of doing this, and you still call me Travis, but you're my biggest fan. I love that. Anyway, I asked to make sure I pronounced her name correctly. It's spelled Marique, which looks like what? Marique, but it's not Marique. It's Marique. Marique B. Moss is how you pronounce it, and she has a delicious new book out called Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems, a book which comes with its own soundtrack, no less. I ain't mad at her. In the book, Marique invites us to consider the meaning of Afro-Indigenous identity and resilience in a cultural moment where diversity is being rejected. Seems like we've been talking about that all 3 hours of today's program, diversity being rejected in this moment. And I'm delighted to have Marique on this program. Marique, how are you?
Hey, Tavis, I'm great. How are you?
If I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I'm doing well, and I'm delighted to be in conversation with you. Tell me about that first name.
Oh my gosh. So there's actually a whole poem on it because of the Marique part of it.
Yes.
It comes from my mom. Shout out to Margaret. So it's Marique, and I always tell my professors or anybody in my general vicinity to rhyme it with paprika so that it sticks.
Yeah.
She tells me that it's from a French opera that her doctor was singing while giving birth to me. And I was like, well, wait a minute. You waited until birth to throw a name out around, and it was his singing that got you. But I'm one of 4 kids with very unique names, Hakeem, Xavier, and Shakira. So we're all in it together.
Okay. Well, you got company at least. That's a beautiful thing. I am wondering. I should have had my producers ask you before we came on the air. Do you have a copy of the book near you right now?
I do.
Good. That's a good thing. So I was fascinated when I got inside the book, because I've written 24 books myself, of course, in my life, and interviewed more authors than I can count over on my radio and TV shows over all these years, and I'd never actually seen something quite like this, which I was fascinated by. I wonder if you will turn to the page, how to read this book.
Yes, for sure.
I have never ever picked up a book, to my recollection, and had the author tell me how to read the book. But I was fascinated by that in the early pages of the book. So if you would turn to that page for me, just read for the audience that section, that page, how to read this book. And once again, the book is called Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems. The author is Marique B. Moss, and Marique B. Moss is now going to read for us the page in the book titled How to Read This Book.
All right. How to read this book. These 31 years aren't in perfect order because life isn't either. Feel it all, gut punches and soft landings, tears and breathless laughter. Some poems are messy grief. Others are quiet love letters to moments that saved me. The heartbreak and healing, the behind the scenes you missed. People say I'm strong, maybe. But strength had a price. This is what it cost. Read this walking beside me, not behind me, not ahead. Welcome to my story, and thank you for holding it.
And that's what we're going to tap into for the rest of this hour, this story that she's inviting us to read, walking beside her, not behind her, not ahead of her. Going to be a great hour with Marique B. Moss in this new book, Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems. You're listening, and I'm glad about it, to Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you wet shaving? You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops, I'm good with Gillette Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard Mama hates anyway?
Since 77. I shaved and got ingrown so bad.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturizer. So I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
The best a man can get keeps getting better with Gillette Skin Guard. Buy now at a retailer near
Break
you.
out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yeah.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Marique Moss, author of the book Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems. Let's get this party started for real, for real. So I love the invitation that you extend to us to join you in this story that you're telling. And I was going through your book last night, and it occurred to me that each of us doesn't just have a story. Each of us is a story. Does that resonate with you?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. Tell me more about the fact that each of us is, in fact, a story.
I would say all of us are our own stories, just based off of our own lived experiences.
Yeah.
That could be a school experience, going to the corner store for gum. I don't know. Honestly, anything. And you could turn it into, this is what happened on this particular day. This is how the cashier smiled at me. This is how it made me feel. And it's, resonating with me in this way,
Yeah. I love, you should know that Bell Hooks was a friend of mine. And I miss Bell Hooks, and we spent a lot of good time together in conversation over dinners, and of course had the honor to interview Bell Hooks any number of times on radio and television. So I miss Bell Hooks. But I love how you pulled this quote from Bell, again, at the opening of the text of the book. And the quote is, "To be loving is to be open to grief, to be touched by sorrow, even sorrow that is unending. To be loving is to be open to grief, to be touched by sorrow, even sorrow that is unending." So every author gets to choose, if he or she so desires, how they want to open their book, if there's a quote they want to use, a dedication they want to make. I am just moved by the fact that you chose Bell Hooks in that particular line. Tell me why.
So I chose Beautiful Bell Hooks and this particular quote because it almost forms the entire memoir itself. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is held in grief and my personal experiences, which, has to do with a lot of grief, loss. And I feel like when I added this in here, it's giving sort of like a healer perspective. Like you'll take all of that grief and you can turn it into something, a cultural offering, or, even just like a shoulder to cry on or anything. And it's life. It is going to be unending. And that's fortunately part of the journey. And so this quote really spoke to me, especially regarding Afro-Indigenous belonging and identity.
Yeah. You make no bones about the fact you're rather transparent, which I love, in letting us know that you wrote this collection of pieces through grief, but also through clarity and laughter. That you write caught you oftentimes mid tears. Tell me about the process, again, following you here, of writing through grief.
So writing through grief, I was always taught like at a young age to just, I'll internalize and express your emotions. So my way of doing that was through writing, even if it was a couple of scribbles on a journal. Currently, it's just me ranting in Google Docs, which I don't hate because that single-handedly glued together what Sweetgrass and Soul Food is today. But it is a way to let out that pain and frustration without hanging on to it and making it who you are as a person, which I like. So I had a very healthy outlet to even go back to and say, this particular instance really hurt me. And this is how I felt, on paper that I can go back to and looking through my archives. And today, this is how I'm going to form recommendations or help others through that specific journey or lived experience.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to make any assumptions here, so if I'm wrong about this frame, you can feel free to disabuse me of this notion. But has writing always been your therapy?
No, not always.
Okay.
So all my friends will say, you have 64 untouched journals on your bookshelf. What are you going to do about that? And so naturally, I go out and I get another journal because they're cute and they're pretty, and eventually I'm going to write in them. But I would say my outlet is probably being out in nature and just hanging out with my plant relatives or just doing something activity wise. But if that's not available, I'll definitely go to writing or, stuff like that.
Yeah. Um, Again, I'm working my way into this book, but there's so many fascinating pieces before you even get to the poems that Marique lays out in this book. In case you've just tuned in, I'm talking to Marique B. Moss. Her new book is called Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems. Pleased to have her on this program. You write in the book that these poems aren't perfect, neither am I, but they're true. These poems aren't perfect, neither am I, but they're true. I want to pause there for a second because that's a fascinating dialectic for me. None of us is perfect. But it seems to me that one of the goals ought to at least live a life that is authentic. None of us is perfect, but we can at least be real. We can be authentic. We can be true. I wonder if you might say a word about that.
Yeah, so I specifically wrote that out to touch on specifics like anti-Blackness and lateral violence, not only within the dominant community, but absolutely within my own communities being Native American as well. Also, I'm a proud member of the Mandan Hidatsa and Arikara Nation out in Fort Berthold, and I am proudly Black on my father's side. So I wrote that to gear toward anti-Blackness and lateral violence. So often in Native spaces, we say truth and reconciliation. There's entire acts and commissions based off of it. But truth can't be selective in any way, shape, or form. So there shouldn't be hidden parts where you don't honor all of your relatives or even yourself. So if your community leaves out Black natives, queer folks, urban raised people, or those still reclaiming your culture, it's definitely not healing. It's active colonial erasure. So I really like to amplify this is happening in our own communities as much as we say things like decolonization. It shouldn't have an asterisk and a hard stop saying, but if you're Black, X, Y, and Z. And I went into this knowing that people would be hurt by the things that I say about my own community, but it's not me bashing my own community. It's my actual lived experience. So when I say neither, I'm not perfect, but this is my truth, it's a hard truth. It's still happening here. I'll get stopped before for the color of my skin. People will ask me who my family is. What do you know about your culture, your history? And that's how I frame this book around, because it's not just for, white people to learn about natives or blacks. It's about everybody. Like it's in all communities.
Yeah. I want to ask you to turn to the page, have you read something else again here. Turn to the page that I was just referencing, a note from the author, if you will, and I'm going to have you read that from top to bottom because there's something I want to probe near the bottom of this page. So I'm going to have you read a note from the author in just a second, but I can't do that without asking this question first because you went there and I don't want to lose where I am in this conversation. You just said something that just quite literally jumped out at me. This notion of knowing that people were going to be hurt, some people were going to be hurt by what you wrote. Now, I know something of this. I mentioned earlier I've written a bunch of books, of course, in my career. And at one point I wrote a memoir. And in that memoir, I had to tell some truths that I knew were going to hurt people, particularly in my own family. I tried to soften that by letting them know that the book was coming and what I was writing about in the book so they would not be completely, caught off guard or surprised by it. And I knew that they weren't going to be happy with this, but I also knew that if I told the story authentically, that others might be helped by the truth that I was telling in my memoir. But I've had so many thoughts over the years. That book came out many years ago, but I've had so many thoughts going into that book, writing that book, post the book tour, and even all these years later, about what it means to be willing to tell a truth that is in fact going to hurt some people. And so here you come with this reference that just, gave me a flashback about my own journey with that. And I know there are folk who are listening right now who are no doubt wrestling with that. Something they have to do, something they've already done, but it involves telling a truth that might hurt people's feelings. Talk to me about your journey with regard to that reality.
Yes, so that has just been a lifelong journey. And I figured that if I know I'm going to hurt people by just simply existing in my own body, in my own skin, then the minimum I can do is help somebody else recognize to, stand in their power. I was always told that being Black in Hidatsa were my absolute superpowers. And I believe that to this day. So it's not going to matter what you do or anything. There's always going to be people in your corner wanting to bring you down. And then add on being Black to that. There's a giant target on your back. So going in unapologetically writing this, I truly thought of it as a cultural offering. So I used to direct American Indian education for a pretty big school district. And I always told my kids, you can have piercing blue eyes, you can have a beautiful afro, you can have your box braids, but don't let anybody tell you that you're not Dakota or you're not Ojibwe. You're in this program for a reason. And it was me taking all of the blows for the teachers saying, why does this program exist? It shouldn't. Or I would go into the classrooms and they know who I am. They know what my title is. And they would say, snarky comments like, "Oh, are you here for the remedial classes?" Or something degrading like that. Also, I love the remedial classes, but that's not the point. The point is like, "Oh, you're just here, to teach kids about things that shouldn't be taught in schools." And I had a few kids that really latched onto the program, and it just made me so happy. I had a teacher that really helped me internalize my identity. And I always say, as cheesy as it might be, like if you can help one person, then that domino effect is really strong. It is so strong. And now I have some kids teaching Native studies. They're getting their bachelor's degrees in Native studies at tribal colleges. And I think that's worth it. If you have to punish me for, again, simply existing as who I am and my authentic self. But it helps a kid or kids, or you internalize who you are. I think you just can grow together. I'm not saying to punish, for fun, but it really helps, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, do me a favor, if you will, Marique, and read, and I'll explain why when you're done, but just read this note from the author, please, from the top.
Okay. This collection was written in pieces through grief, clarity, and laughter that caught me mid-tears. These poems aren't perfect, neither am I, but they're true. Sweetgrass and Soul Food is both a love letter and a ledger. Proof I made it through. Things I knew I wouldn't. As an Afro-Indigenous woman whose ancestors walk with her, who's had to explain herself in too many rooms, who chooses softness even when it's misunderstood. If you see yourself in these pages, thank you for surviving too. If you feel outside of them, thank you for listening. You are worthy of being witnessed. Your story deserves light. With love and fire, Marique.
All right. Thank you for reading that. Now I want to just delve into two pieces of that powerful note from the author that you'll read at the beginning of this book called Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir and poems. Marique Moss is the author and our guest right now. I got about 90 seconds now. Let me start this. We'll continue, of course, when we come forward. Glad to have you for the full hour. But this line jumped out at me as one who's had to explain herself in too many rooms. I can't imagine that there are too many people listening right now who don't resonate with that we have to too often explain ourselves in too many rooms. Talk to me, Marique.
Yes. So I wrote that because that is me. My mom often says this. She is a 6-foot Hidatsa woman, and she always tells everyone that she's wearing her disguise. So I retweeted that and I used it for myself because here I am coming in with my box braids and my skin tone and everything, and people sort of are like, well, are you supposed to be here? Or you don't necessarily fit the profile of what we're looking for, but nonetheless, you're in here. So it goes back from school to different jobs. So when I started my journey into school, I went to Fort Lewis College, beautiful college, shout out. They have a Native American center there. And I was like, oh my gosh, free food, and I can study and I can be around, my people. That's awesome. When I first went in, people were just looking at me like there was something on my face. And I was like, oh, it's actually my face. So I just remember feeling a little left out, or if I needed to have a sticky note on my forehead that said, I promise you I'm Hidatsa. People would always ask me, what tribe are you from? Why are you in the NAC? Or why are you doing X, Y, and Z? And it just got to the point where it beats you down so much that you're just like, oh my gosh, maybe they're right.
Hold that thought, Marique. It is exhausting. Again, everybody listening right now has had that experience of having to explain ourselves in too many rooms, too many times. More of this conversation when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. With 3 months to go, New York City mayoral candidates are ramping up campaigns. Democrat Zohran Mamdani leads the polls with 50% support. He's backed by Senator Elizabeth Warren.
So anybody who thinks New York City should work only for the billionaires probably should go with Andrew Cuomo.
100 faith leaders have endorsed Mayor Eric Adams. Singer and entrepreneur Ray J is clearing his name, denying rumors he was involved in Whitney Houston's death. On Cam Newton's Funky Friday podcast, he said he was in San Diego the night she died, not in her hotel room, calling the claims the biggest cap I've ever heard. And a black man, 22-year-old Daniel Cressy from New Orleans, may become Louisiana's first person cured of sickle cell disease through gene therapy. The breakthrough could help him achieve his dream of becoming a pilot. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is your concrete cracking? Is your uneven walkway dangerous? Do you need to level that concrete porch or patio? Contact Groundworks, the concrete lifting experts. Riverside, get your free inspection today. Learn more at groundworks.com.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Just in case Lakers fans were wondering, LeBron James did reach out to Luka Doncic to congratulate him on his contract extension. LeBron did a video call with Doncic while Doncic was signing a new 3-year deal for $165 million. LeBron and Luka would get a chance to play an entire season together. The Lakers were 16-7 last season when LeBron and Luka were on the court. Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman is out of jail after spending the weekend locked up for having 5 guns in his car, including 2 assault-style rifles. The 32-year-old Perryman was released late Monday afternoon. Perryman was stopped by Inglewood police on Friday for having expired tags on his car. He was scheduled to appear at the Inglewood courthouse Tuesday morning, but LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman decided not to file charges. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Your child is 18, and suddenly you no longer have legal access to their medical info, even in an emergency. No health decisions, no financial help, nothing, unless you plan ahead. That's why Trust and Will created the Young Adult Plan. It includes HIPAA authorization, healthcare directives, and power of attorney. Everything your child needs to stay protected and stay connected. Go to trustandwill.com and get your Young Adult Plan for just $69, because turning 18 shouldn't mean cutting parents out of the picture. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by
Wesley
Pfizer.
Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
He's a paradigm pioneer and the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Marique Moss, who's author of the new book Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems. We were talking moments ago, Marique, at least you were talking about this. I said exhausting, what it means to have to always explain yourself in rooms where others think you don't belong. Finish your point on that, and we'll move forward from there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. It is truly exhausting, and sometimes it wears you down, but there's definitely the double-edged sword of, do I give up here or do I just keep going and turn this into something that can be useful? And I did the useful part.
Yeah. No, I was just saying the other day to some people that that's the goal. That should be the goal for each of us, to live a useful life. Each of us should want to live a useful life, and there's that word useful that, again, just sort of jumped out at me. The other piece about this note from the author that I want to get to before I move forward here is this line that jumped out at me, that you are worthy of being witnessed, that each of us is worthy of being witnessed. Unpack that for me.
Yeah, I would put this back into lived experiences. I don't know everything, but I'm giving you what I know, what I've been through these different types of poems. So I would love to sit down with everyone. And I always say, I love sitting down and let's have some auntie laughs and drink some lemonade. And you tell me about life. And I know I'm going to learn 101 things in there. And those are stories that are worthy of being told. Absolutely.
Yeah. I asked you earlier whether or not writing was always your therapy. You said not exactly. But I'm also curious as to how then poetry becomes your muse.
Yes. So Sweetgrass and Soul Food was by accident, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
It just sort of happened over the course of me writing things down, and I saw some call to submissions, and I was like, oh, well, this is a cool personal essay that I might, reformat and send in. And I had those printed out and laying around, and my partner actually picked those up, and he goes, these are pretty compelling. Like, are you sure, like, this is what you want to do? You should, if you have more of these, you should definitely compile them into a book. And then I got nervous and I sent them over to my mom, and I was like, Mom, what do you think of these? And she goes, these need to be into a book. And at first, again, it was sort of journal entry, and just to, I guess, optimize it or make it shorter and to the point with an impact, I turned it into a spoken word / poetry format. And I'll be completely honest, poetry was not my thing to begin with. I wasn't running to the poetry section of like Barnes and Noble or anything. But it wasn't until after I wrote this book in this format that it really clicked. Like, this is poetry. It's really hitting for me. So now, of course, I'm grabbing anything and all poetry in my grasps.
Yeah. When you define this or frame this book as a cultural offering, by that you mean what?
By a cultural offering, I mean, I want somebody who's Afro-Indigenous or mixed native to pick this up and feel absolutely validated and absolutely seen. And that has already happened. I have my DMs and my emails flooding saying, I'm 47 years old, and it wasn't until I picked up Sweetgrass and Soul Food that I truly saw myself. And it gets me really feelsy because at 47, you have all your creature comforts and you're so set in your ways, but to unlock a piece of yourself that happened through my book it's sort of mind-blowing. And this is why I worked in high schools and in middle schools, and it's to get them early. Like, you are firmly, Ojibwe, you're firmly Oglala, or, part of whoever you are, and you proudly grow up in all your identities, right? So my gift or my cultural offering, and just to go back to like my grief and my lived experiences, is to share with you, like, my heart is on my sleeve, giving everybody, like, it's okay to feel these feelings, and it's sort of you're definitely not alone. So that's what I mean by a cultural offering.
Okay. Why did you choose? I'm glad you did, and the reader will get it when they get inside the actual book. But why choose Sweetgrass and Soul Food as the title?
Yeah, so it was a literal and a symbolic play on my identity. So for Sweetgrass, it is my Hidatsa side, for my mother. And for Soul Food, it is my beautiful Black father from Detroit, Michigan. And I love that I added those together. So Soul Food traditionally, as well as, things like fry bread in the Native communities, are survival foods. And we just had to grow with those and become resilient with those. So I thought adding Sweetgrass and Soul Food would be a pretty clever title. Sweetgrass is also one of our 4 sacred medicines. It's cedar, sweetgrass, sage, and tobacco. And I'm sort of giving, this is medicine. Reading this book is going to be medicine. It's going to be helpful for you. And I sure hope it will be.
Yeah.
So that's why I came up with the title. Given
your mixed race identity, which you referred to a number of times in this conversation, have you found it in this multicultural, multiracial world that we live, have you found over the years that journey is getting easier to navigate, or am I putting too much on it?
So for me, I feel like it's getting easier just because I've internalized who I am.
Yes.
I have a thicker skin. I go in with my head tall. You can't tell me anything at this point. I am proudly Afro-Indigenous. But for those who have not internalized that, so for instance, if you grew up away from your culture or connected, I feel like it would get harder and harder. But for an offering like my book, and there's not a lot, I cannot emphasize that enough, there's not a lot on being Afro-Indigenous out there. And again, I started this sort of as my own project, but I'm so happy that it blossomed into what it is today. So it's definitely going to be one of the two. And it comes down to internalizing who you are and knowing where you stand and where you belong.
Proudly Afro-Indigenous. She is Marique Moss. She's the author of the new book, Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems. I have teased you long enough. When we come forward, I'm going to ask Marique to figure out what she wants to read, a poem that is, or two, from the book, and we'll do that when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
BET, and PBS, The Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet, and the cover of Time. #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. You like that? This is Tavis Smiley.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways, and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Marique Moss, who is author of the new book, Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems. All right, Marique, you ready for me?
I am ready for you.
Tell me what you are going to read, and then do your thing.
Yeah, I am going to read a poem today called Black Privilege. All right, Black Privilege. They say I had it easy, that I don't know struggle, because my parents left none for me to carry. I was there, 8 W-2s from jobs that broke their backs, a house years later, scraped, saved, sacrificed. When they stretched $20 to make sure each of us had 5 toys from the Dollar Tree, we were ecstatic and clueless in our hand-me-down pajamas. We were running through the house with big buck-tooth smiles, no idea our parents were both still students, juggling coursework and side jobs. And every year they leveled up. New degrees, new certificates. We watched them grow while raising us. New houses, new jobs, new states, new schools, new chapters built with intention and love that never missed a deadline. They built our home not just with income, but with commitment, not just with bricks, but with belief that they deserved peace behind our doors. We had our own rooms, painted our favorite colors, furnished from catalog dreams, Pottery Barn kids, and Macy's wish lists, checked off by people they wouldn't let into the store. They were an interracial couple, married in 1986, just 19 years after Loving versus Virginia. It made their union legal in every state, and still they faced the looks, the closed doors, the assumptions, the whispered judgment from both sides. They married through backlash, battled discrimination, just to raise 4 Black and Native children in a world that they rarely saw families like ours. Not worthy of protection in systems that never planned for families like ours to thrive. They took the hits so we wouldn't have to. And now they call that privilege. But if it is, it's one I wear with pride. Because Black privilege isn't wealth handed down, it's peace that was fought for. It's childhood softened by parents who refused to pass down their wounds. It's the first generation who didn't grow up with the weight of everything breaking at once. It's the generation who didn't grow up with the weight of all our issues. It's a mother who knew her truth, a father who worked 2 jobs and never complained. It's meals we didn't realize were miracles, a fridge that stayed full, a house that stayed warm, a childhood that felt light. My parents created a new generation in the form of a shield. They gave us honor knowing our histories and traditions without being reduced to someone else's idea of what they're supposed to be. My dad always says, y'all are soft in the best way. Not fragile, just free. Raised on love, not survival. We speak the King's English. We are well-read, well-traveled, well-adjusted. You can drop us in ballrooms, conferences, galas, block parties, and festivals, and we'll relate to everyone there, disappearing into conversations full of meaning, references, and charm. That's the privilege, and I'm honored to have it.
That piece is called Black Privilege. It can be found in her book, Sweetgrass and Soul Food, Memoir and Poems. The author of that book, Marique Moss, is our guest right now for a few more moments at least on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say, when we come forward?
Because he's not going back.
And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward. Forward.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an adult in need of accredited high school diploma, the Los Angeles Public Library can help. You can earn one for free in as few as 5 months online with 24/7 access. You also get a personal academic coach plus special training focused on 9 in-demand industries, as well as a resume and cover letter to advance your career. Visit the website at lapl.org/diploma. That's lapl.org/diploma.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Less monologue,
more dialogue.
Tavis Smiley continues right now.
Just for a few more minutes, 4 minutes to be exact, with Marique Moss. The book is called Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems. We got time for one more, Marique. Give it to me.
All right. This poem is called The Archaeology of Healing. I hold my trauma like artifacts, carefully excavated, delicately brushed, labeled with precision. This one is ancestral. This one is my own. This one was passed down like a recipe, still warm from others' hands. I learned to catalog my grief, to recognize its pattern, its pottery shards, its bone fragments, its remnants of what came before. Anthropologists look at my people's pain and call it specimen, took notes, filled museums, wrote papers, won tenure off our bones. But I've become my own archaeologist, digging not to display, but to understand, to hold what has been broken, to mend what can be mended. I come from too many stories of things taken and never returned, excavated without permission, studied without consent, displayed without context. So I approach my own healing with reverence. I do not rush the dig. I do not force the fragments to fit where they resist. Some days I find arrowheads of anger, some days beads of joy, still vibrant after being buried. Some days just dust that was once something whole. I document it all. This too is sacred work. This too is reclamation. This too is bringing home what was thought to be lost. The archaeology of healing isn't about perfect restoration. It's about honoring the breaks, understanding the absence, recognizing the pattern even when pieces are missing, and discovering, sometimes under the oldest pain, an even older joy, intact, patient, waiting.
It's The Archaeology of Healing, one of the many brilliant poems in this book called Sweetgrass and Soul Food, a memoir in poems by Marique Moss, who I have delighted in having on this program for the hour as we have celebrated what it means to be Afro-Indigenous and to bring forth poetry that speaks to that life. Marique, a delight to have had you on this program. I mean that sincerely. I thought it'd be a good hour, even better than I thought. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your loving spirit. And it's just been a great hour in dialogue with you. I wish you nothing but the best in the coming months and years. Congratulations on Sweetgrass and Soul Food.
Thank you so much, Tavis, for having me. I appreciate it.
It was my great honor to have you. And just like that, 3 hours are gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. With 3